reconcile. There's no reconciliation when children are still being forcibly taken from their loving families, when there's no harm being done to those children, and they're being placed in the care of somebody else at the hands of the government, even though those children are suffering as a result, and nobody is taking any care or consideration for the way those children feel or the fact that they want to go home. If children want to be with their parents and their parents want their children, and there's nothing stopping them from being with each other except for the government, that's wrong. There's no way that that anybody, for that matter, should be able to take somebody's children away from them forcibly and have the police support them in doing that. But then if the person has a court order saying the kids can see them the parent can see the kids at the kid's request, and yet the police won't enforce that court order. Nobody's forwarded me any court documents. The judge didn't even listen to me in our court case. I had lots of evidence in my favor. They wouldn't even listen because there's corruption involved. And people don't want to believe that there's corruption involved. Well, there is, because there's been over 8,000 kids in care for the last 30 years. That means over 8,000, that means 16,000 parents at any given time for children that are in the system or taken away wrongfully a lot of the time by social workers that don't have any grounds to do so. They can do anything that they want because they changed the law when they started the Mcfd. They started the Ministry for Children and Family Development when they closed down the residential schools, and they basically have the right to do whatever they want at their own discretion. That gives them more power than even a judge. It's wrong. We need to change the policy. We need to change the law, and we need to get on it fast because there's kids in care suffering as a result of this. And the social workers themselves say, it's out of my pay grade. I said, you know that kids are suffering and you know that this is wrong, and yet you're still enforcing the policy that's hurting children, and your job is to protect children. Protect them from what? We need to protect them from them now, because their whole job is to protect these children, but they're not protecting the children because the children are suffering worse and are ending up worse off. 80% of them who age out of care end up facing homelessness before age 30. 80%. This is not just about child protection anymore. This is facing their whole entire life being affected. This is about a person whose whole entire life is affected. It is not just about child protection. If it was just about child protection, then that would be warranted. That would be fair to protect them. But they're not protecting kids who need to be protected. The ones who need to be protected are overlooked and dismissed, and they don't get found because they're too busy trying to fuck over parents who have kids in the system, who love their kids and are fighting to keep their kids with them, but they're trying to destroy their relationships and make them look like bad people so that they can justify having taken them wrongfully, just so that they will meet the marker of the amount of kids that they want to have taken for some god-awful reason which we don't even know. But if it doesn't seem like corruption to you, maybe you should look more into it. Maybe somebody should look more into it, because it's fucking corruption and it needs to end, and we need to help these kids because they're suffering and they need their fucking parents, and their parents need their kids, and the parents die of a broken heart, and the kids go searching for them, inevitably ending up on the streets if the parents are fucked up anyway. So it basically leaves these kids no other option but an impoverished life, focusing on, dependency in the system. If they don't want people dependent on the system, then they shouldn't take kids away from their families and fuck them over so badly that they have nobody else to turn to, and at the end of their life, they go searching in the streets. That's what they're doing. Good job, government. We need to change the laws now, because it's not out of my pay grade. I don't have a fucking pay grade. Nice to the people who fucking make their careers off the backs of the poor, and the people who are living as a result of their hand, impoverished and forced, to deal with undue suffering.